Welcome, everyone. Welcome back to the Diamond Frequency Podcast. It's so awesome to have you with me today. Today's episode, we're going to be diving into and speaking directly to the new yoga teacher. I won't say that if you're any teacher at all, you won't gain something from this. So, if you are a healer, if you are a visionary, if you are a spiritual leader in any capacity, listen to this episode. I still think you're going to derive tremendous value from these 5 points. So, that's what I'm giving you today. To the new yoga teacher, here are 5 things that I want you to embody and keep going with on your path. These are the 5 tips that I have for you that are going to allow you to feel so much more steady, confident, and easeful in your journey to teaching more. I have had the privilege of leading 5, I think it is, maybe 6 200-hour yoga teacher trainings. And also, I've taught yoga for over 2 decades. I remember, believe it or not, what it felt like to be a new teacher, especially through the new teachers that I certify, because I see their nervousness. I work with them after YTTs. A lot of them are in my programs right now, from Manifesting Mastery, MMM to Diamond Frequency, etc. And there's common themes and pain points, fears and issues that keep popping up that I want to address that has nothing to do with strategy, actually. These 5 tips are really about the energetics of stepping into and owning, occupying who you are as a yoga teacher and how beautiful that is. What a gift that is. You're so unique and so powerful that anything diminishes that light, it should be completely dissolved and banished from this world. But above all, what we have to shift from is that something else gives or steals our power to you give yourself or steal your own power. So that's what today's about. I want to give you my top 5 tips, specifically in love and channeling the energy of the new yoga teacher. Again, these are the 5 tips that I have that are going to really unlock the energetics of going forward as a brave, confident yoga teacher, attracting your soul-powered students to you, and also giving you that sense of ease that you're right on time and that there's no chasing that has to happen, right? True confidence is going to come for these 5 things. Okay, so you'll probably want to take notes on this if you're in a position to do so, or maybe you just want to let this hit the eardrums, hit the eyes if you're watching this on YouTube, and let the body receive. Either way, all good, whatever you desire. Well, let's get into it. Are you ready? I'm so excited you're here. Okay, let's go. Number one, you are already perfect as you are. Just let that drop in. You are already perfect as you are. This statement subscribes to non-dualistic yoga. Yoga is broken up into 4 or 5, depending on what branch you study or what Indologist you're looking at. 4 major sections of history. We have archaic, pre-classical, classical, and post-classical. And then there's modern or the current yoga that we have. I like to say there's 5 sections of yoga's long, beautiful history. Archaic yoga and pre-classical yoga, as well as post-classical and modern yoga. Not so much modern yoga, but I want you to know that modern yoga, the yoga we practice now, does subscribe to non-dualistic thinking, non-dualism beliefs. In other words, the only period of yoga that was truly devoted to dualistic belief was classical yoga. And that was a tiny little bit of yoga, powerful part of yoga. We have some beautiful texts like the Yoga Sutra Patanjali that come out of that time period. The reason I mention this is because classical yoga and the yamas and the niyamas also, by the way, powerful books, powerful ethical codes, come out of this time period. And I mention this because for some reason, classical yoga has just stuck. And we're seeing, and we have been seeing this huge resurgence of that in our current landscape, current times with yoga. And I believe the reason is because we really like the do's and don'ts. We like the black and white. We like the positive, the negative. We like the contrast that dualism gives us. We know what we should be doing and we know what we should be avoiding. But as you know, life isn't that linear. Being a human isn't that linear. So I love dualistic yoga. I also love non-dualistic yoga. I think both have a lot of value. But I want you to know right now that of the long 5,000 years plus of yoga, most of it was non-dualism. And that's what this first point is all about. You are already perfect as you are. Because dualism says you're here and God's over there. You're here and the perfect version of your most enlightened self is over there. And you got to do all this work, beautiful work, of course, but you've got to do work to purify, to clean up, to become holy, to become enlightened. And it might not even happen in this lifetime, but strive for it anyhow. Strive for it with things like purity and non-stealing and love, amazing things. But there is this tendency to feel guilt if you don't hit the mark. There's a tendency in dualism to believe that we are unholy and ungood as we are. I tend to subscribe to non-dualism. Non-dualism says, right now, in this very moment, you are enlightened. Right now, in this very moment, wake up, goddess. Because you are completely whole, completely beautiful, perfect, just as you are. Isn't that nice? This does not excuse us from cleaning up our act. This does not excuse us from still growing and healing. This does not mean we get to bypass all of our toxic behaviors because, well, Kim said, it's non-dualistic, baby. And I'm already pure and perfect. Right. Okay. But please don't take that so literally, but take it energetically. Take it energetically. You are already whole and perfect. Now there's nothing to fix. Now there's nothing to become. There's just everything to remember. And since we are connected to Source at every given now moment and we come from Source, you are a part of Source. So of course, it's natural that you are perfect. You're whole, you are beautiful. So let's awaken to that. Let's awaken to that and then live in the world as householders, live in the world as teachers. That is the definition, by the way, the Bodhisattva. Bodhisattva is the awakened, liberated being who chooses still to stay in the world, the busy marketplace. They choose to stay in the world of suffering because they'd rather be in the world of suffering and liberate, help teach, help guide the way forward than be in the monastery or be up in the ashram and just stay there. Now, there's benefit to that, which we'll talk about later, but there is also tremendous benefit, and you're called to one or the other. There's not one that's better than the other, but most of us listening to this podcast, myself included, are bodhisattvas. We are awakened, liberated beings who are choosing to help others who don't have the knowledge yet, who don't know that they too are awakened beings. We have to remember. So this point is about remembering who you really are. Now imagine how your classes would feel to the student who's receiving the energy from you, the teacher, that you know you are already whole. You are already perfect. There's no fixing. Now, this is a powerful moment for the teacher because the student feels that. The student feels when the teacher does not want to fix them. Have you ever been in a classroom before where you can feel the opposite? I have, where the teacher is looking at all your flaws, calling them out publicly, adjusting everything on you, or even wagging their finger. I've seen that. I've heard horror stories about being whacked with a stick and all of this stuff to say, fix, fix, fix. Now, there is reason to fix your alignment so you don't get hurt, but is there always reason to fix your alignment to become more perfect? I don't know. What do you think? I think that there's a way to have someone align better and perfect energetically toward, maybe we're expanding, not perfecting, but expanding their greatest essence of studentship, studenthood on the map by modeling that you're already perfect. You're already whole. So let's just awaken to that energy first. Now do the yoga. Now do the postures. Now do the breath work. And tell me you don't get 10 times, 20 times further down the path. Because at the heart of this is love, compassion, and love, and non dualistic behavior. Okay. How cool is that? I hope you enjoyed point one. I had to come in hot with that. Point two is this. You do not need to know it all, but you need to know you're all. You do not need to know it all, but you need to know you are all. And this is an echo of the first point. In fact, you're going to find that theme in just about all of these 5 points. That you are all that is needed. You. Not the teachings that you have, not the certification that you got, not your years in Bali or India or whatever ashram you were at, not the amount of knowledge or your ability to recite the Yoga Sutras or your pitch perfect chanting of the Vedic chants or whatever it is that you hold as wisdom and knowledge. That's actually not the activating factor that's going to attract in your students and help them to transform and become and remember their greatest self. The magic potion, if you will, is simply you. It is your ability to hold space, more specifically. Your ability to hold space for who the students are and how they are arriving is going to remove any I need to fix you ego that might come out of the young teacher, and also remove the fear or that, a teacher that wants to fix someone is going to attract a student who wants to be fixed. Yeah, right? Like that's just like the cycle of energetic abuse. It's the obsession. It's perpetuating the obsession we have with perfecting our bodies and our looks and our minds and all of that. So we really do need to be aware and check that as yoga teachers, as any energy healer. What is your intention while teaching, while leading, while healing? And if you come in with impressing, I want to impress people with the knowledge I have. Well, guess what? 20 plus years of studying it myself, and I still don't know it all. There's still so much yoga, history, and wisdom, and teachings and scriptures I haven't even read. And I won't get to it all in my lifetime. I know that. But what I do know is that I don't need to know it all, but I know that I am all. I am all that is needed. My presence, my love. What would it be like to let your love be the greatest teaching? Because guess what? Some days you're going to show up to teach and you're going to be tired and you're going to forget that chant. You're going to stumble over the words. Or you're going to forget your class notes. You left them in the other purse, your other bag. And you got to show up without the script. Like we've all had those moments. And if you haven't yet, they're coming. They're coming whether you're a beginner teacher or a seasoned teacher. Who's been there? What are you going to rely on in those moments? What else is there to rely on? Let's try love. Let's try presence. Let's try spaciousness, openness. And those things only come from knowing and embodying deeply that you do not need to know it all to be a great teacher, to facilitate love and healing, but you do need to know that you are all. You are all that is needed. Okay, point 3. The reason students book with you, the reason students walk into your class time and time again, the reason that they're going to sign up for an upcoming event or workshop isn't because of who you are. It's because of who they feel and trust they can become in your presence. So I'm going to say that again. Students sign up with you, students show up routinely for you in your classes, not because of who you are, but because of who they believe they can become in your presence. This is again about student. We're taking the spotlight off of you, even though it's very exciting to be a new teacher and you should be excited. But your role when you teach isn't to be a teacher, it is to guide the students with your teachings. So we remove the subjective I-ness, and it's all about you, which can actually make you more nervous. And we can flip it, and we want to flip it into, I'm here to serve. And these students are here to receive. So I'm here to give. But really, it's about them. And they're here, know this deep in your body. They're here because something you said online, something you wrote in an email, your flyer that was at the corkboard at the coffee shop. There was something you did to signal that safety. Their soul knew that they can evolve and will evolve and grow and expand and heal in your presence. Your soul spoke to their soul. That's why they're there. And their soul felt that it was something you did or said that showed there was no ego there. It wasn't about them. It wasn't about the teacher. Your student's soul knew that they can do some real work there. So this is where it becomes really important that your intentionality is present when you make your Instagram reels about what's coming up, your stories, your marketing on your Instagram grid, your emails that go out, the graphics that you make, your YouTube videos, your flyers that you're creating and canvassing around town. All of this should point to the energetics and intention of there's none of me but all of you. Please come. Come as you are. I'm not going to fix you. And that might be, listen, you don't have to spell that out in words, but that might be the gaze you hold at the camera lens. Human beings are really good at reading body language. What is your body language in these photos? Are you flexing on people and showing the most difficult yoga asana that could be done known to man and saying, come to my beginner yoga class? Huh? I can't tell you how many times I've seen that shit. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Where's the disconnect here? And then you've got nothing but egomaniac students showing up who are beginners but end up hurting themselves in class because they're trying to do your stupid posture. I get really upset about that. So know your audience. Nothing wrong with showing a really incredible asana if you're teaching to intermediate/advanced students. And the point is asana. It comes back to knowing your intention. Are you there for you? Or are you there for the students? Guess what? If you're there for the students, you're going to feel less nervous because you automatically situate yourself in the frequency of love and the energy of love and giving and sharing. And they're going to feel that. Because students don't book based on the teacher and what they can do for themselves. Students book because their soul feels they can do something for them in your presence. Lead with that knowing. And also trust that knowing that when you lead with that, you'll attract your soul clients who are going to feel like they found home the moment they're in your presence, the moment they see you and they walk into the studio. Heck, even the moment they see your flyer or your advertisement, they're going to be like, that's who I've been waiting for. They won't know that on a conscious level, but they'll just be intrigued and they'll sign up to your class and then they're just there and then they just finally come back and they come back and they don't really know what's going on yet, but you do. So if you want to be magnetic and you want to attract in specifically your soul clients who come around again and again and again, who you are going to love to work with and they're going to love to learn from you, then we need to clean up your messaging on all aspects and really understand that even while you're teaching, not even on the marketing end, but in your class itself, you're not there for you. Your students aren't even there for you. They're there for the transactions, they're there for the transformation, they're there for the transmutation, the transformation that their soul wants to and needs to undertake in this lifetime. And their soul understood from your soul that you're the one to do it with. Now, even though they're not there for you, let's not downplay the way you're going to deliver it, because that's where each of you is so special and unique. And I know you're going to bring that specific, essence, the magic that is your true, authentic personality. And so in that way, be yourself, be proud of who you are. But there is a balance, a checkpoint that the yoga teacher goes through before they lead a class, where they check in, as Janet Stone says, ask yourself, what am I up to? And remembering that you're there to lead and guide and facilitate someone else's transformation actually allows more of your authenticity to come through. It seems like it would do the opposite, but you don't need personality always. You don't need a show-stopping voice. You don't need a wow, wow, wow circus of a yoga class to get people to come back. You need, sorry, I got something in my eye. If you're watching the YouTube, that's probably wicked annoying. And I don't edit my shit, so you're going to see this. I think mascara just got in my eyeball. Throwing me all off here. But I guess this is my point, right? Like, sometimes you're going to forget your script. You're going to have to sub for someone and be all nervous. And sometimes you're going to get something in your eye like I am right now. But the show has to go on because it's not about you in that moment. It's about delivering a message that's greater than you. It's about loving, leading with that love. So remember, the reason students book with you and come back isn't really because of you. It's because of how safe they feel in your presence. And what a gift, right? What a gift to know that that's what's going on. Okay, point four. You do not need to be fully healed to heal. Now, this is a saying I got from Natalia Benson, and I think she got it from someone else. So know that this isn't my saying, but I love it nonetheless. And I remind my students of this all the time, and I remind myself of this all the time. I don't need to be fully healed to start to heal others. I don't need to be fully healed. Right? The work's not linear. Healing is not linear. And so I don't need to be fully healed before I know that I can do some good in the world. So my question to you listening to this is, where might you be holding back because you feel like, you're not healed all the way, and you're hesitating on showing up in a way or teaching a specific class because you're worried that there's some perfect version of you that needs to go first. Remember, you're already perfect. You're already whole. And it's not you knowing all, it's that you know you're all. And students don't really need you to be perfect anyhow, because they're not even really there for you. They're there for the feeling of, I can be fully me in her presence, in their presence. That's pretty amazing. Yeah? So when you think about what's holding you back, are you waiting to be fully healed? Are you waiting until you feel fully confident and ready? You don't need to be fully healed. There's still some wounds that I have of public speaking. And, there's wounds of love that I'm still going through, money wounds. But I'm not waiting to heal my money wound before I work on money management and loving and blessing my money. As you heard from the last podcast, I am working on healing old love wounds from a previous marriage and divorce, but that doesn't mean I'm waiting to fall in love. I have fallen in love 4+ years into a relationship with my partner. And I still feel that wound every now and again of not being enough or not believing that he doesn't fully find me attractive. But I recognize it's from the past. I haven't waited. So I'm still healing, but I'm not waiting to take action on the things I'm healing on. Does that make sense? So this is a place where yoga teachers, I think, can sometimes feel like they're trapped because they, again, have that energy of I need to be perfect before I bring me fully online. And no, you're good to go, and you will bring tremendous value to your students' lives, and they need you just as you are right now. In fact, you just telling the story of how you're still working on things shows that you're a student. It shows that you're a student of this path. It shows that you're willing to look at where you are broken, where the shadow work is, and do the work to heal. That's you leading by example. That's what leaders do. I love it when the women that I follow are like, oh, here's boom, I got this wrong the other day. Here's where I'm growing. Here's where I'm leading myself. Leaders lead themselves, and other people love that. Your students want to know you're a leader. So show them by getting out there and being scared and not being fully healed and doing the work. You're ready right now. And that leads me to my fifth point. In fact, you can stop all together right now with getting ready, because getting ready is a fallacy. It's never required. There's no such thing as being ready. And this is some of the work that I do with women who step inside of any of my masterminds and one-on-ones, actually in any of my ecosystems, whether that's MMM, Rise Revolution, or Diamond Frequency, is the empowered woman doesn't move from readiness. She moves from desire. She doesn't move when she's ready. She moves when she feels empowered. She moves when she feels the passion instead. So let me ask you, what do you feel incredibly passionate for that you're still hesitating on? Because there's this fallacy thinking of you've got to get ready first. And trust me, I've been there, and I catch myself in the getting ready mode sometimes. And I'm like, oh, look at me planning and getting ready and doing this and that, when you can be going now. You could be taking action. This kind of goes back to point 4, where you don't need to be healed to heal. You don't need to be ready to take action. You don't need to be fully prepared to do the thing well. Just start. Just start. And in fact, from your incredible starting energy, you're going to be out there doing the thing and getting feedback and learning in the moment. And there's no better way to accelerate your learning and to become an expert even sooner is just by doing it. So where are you holding back in the fallacy thinking that being ready is even a thing? And what would it be like to completely remove that thinking? Dissolve it. Transcend it. Because getting ready, readiness was never required anyhow. Because why? Point 1, point 2, point 3, point 4. Readiness is not a requirement. But passion is. Love is. Excitement is. Desire is. So what do you desire? What are you passionate about? I have my little saying, passion points the way. Now take action. Take action. So knowing that readiness isn't required, knowing that it's really just your passion for something that's required to do a great job and to serve and to attract your soul clients and to feel steady and to feel open and to love. Knowing that that's what's required, let me ask you, what is one small action, aligned action you will take today toward what you're passionate about? One small thing. What's it going to be? Write it down as soon as you've got it. This is really important. Write it down, write it down, write it down, and then schedule that. Because what gets measured gets managed, and what gets managed gets done, baby. All right. I deeply, deeply hope that this serves you. Go get them, yogis. You are incredible. These 5 points really helped me get over any hurdles that I had, and I hope that they served you too. I love you so much, and I will be with you next week. Mwah.